What's up? So today, December 20th, 2025, I woke up thinking about humility. What can be accomplished if we humble ourselves? What can we do? How can we improve? How can we get some criticism, digest it, and say, maybe there's something to that? So, case in point, right? My family, we have Sunday meetings. In that meeting, we go over the week, what you did this week, what you got coming up this week. And at the end, we do one thing, two things. One thing is tell us from your vantage point what we could have did better this previous week, and two things that we did do well that you appreciate. So we go around the room. This is my way of allowing my sons to share on how I can improve as a parent. So 20 years from now, they're not sitting on someone's couch at $200 an hour complaining about how their father hurt them, right? So I say, let's get it out. Let's not be passive aggressive. Tell me how I can be better right now, today. So we do one thing, two things. So in that, I took it up another level, right? I'm the leader. I'm a servant leader, though. I'm here to serve my family, to be an example as Christ-like as I can be for them, right? Fall short of the glory every day, all day, but best effort, heart is in the right place. So they give me my complaints, right? I didn't like when you did this, that. I didn't like when you did this. And then me and my wife have a session, one thing, two thing. You know, I thought you was a little short, you was a little curt, you was a little rude. I felt like you was insensitive in this. So I got to work on that. Now, I could do one or two things. I could be like, you always complaining, you don't know what you're talking about. Or I could sit with that and be like, how can I improve? I want to be better. We all want to be better, right? We all want to be better. We don't like complaints. You know, you can act like, you can listen to this right now and act like, I don't care what people say. Yes, you do. We all care. The closer you are to us, the more we care. Obviously, the more distant a person's opinion of us based on relationship, yeah, we care less, or a lot less, or not at all, or maybe a tiny bit, right? Because when you're putting stuff on the internet, you kind of care about opinions because now you're being vulnerable. You shared your life with people. But what was I saying? So yeah, we do one thing, two things. So I want to be a good dad, right? I only have one chance at this thing while we're here. So in humility, I said, if you catch me raise my voice, if I'm negative, if I'm sarcastic, and when you're talking about cut you off, find me $1 right then and there. I'll sell you $1 instantaneously. I'm crushing, people. I'm crushing. I'm crushing in this challenge. I gotta admit, I'm crushing. The only thing my wife finds me for is cutting her off, which I might do, especially when we get in a heated debate. I might have paid her like maybe $4 or $5 for cutting her off. And I'm like 8 months into this challenge. I'm like coming up on a year in this challenge, I think. I'm not great with dates. I don't want to put myself too high. So say I'm in like 8 months in this challenge. I think I might have paid my wife $10 combined with cutting her off and maybe being sarcastic. So that's like 10 times in like maybe 8 months. My kids have not fined me. I have not raised my voice. I have not been sarcastic to them. I have not raised my voice, be sarcastic, cut them off while they're talking, and be negative. My sons have not. I think I might have paid one of my sons once for cutting them off. My other son has not fined me. So humility, right? Humility helps you grow. Compromise, right? Compromise. I'm able to take what you say, digest it, sit with it, and be like, there might be some truth to that, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire, right? Where there's hurt, there's a root cause to everything, right? How we see things is based on how we grow up, what experiences We've been through what trauma caused us to have this as a thing, right? One thing for you might not be a thing for me, right? You might be an excellent listener and you don't cut people off. Maybe you were one of 5 children. You always had to speak fast to get your point across because everyone was talking over you. There's always a reason why we have good and bad habits. So I'm trying to form good habits. So it starts with humility, right? You know, all these shows, women on these shows, when a man makes a good point, one of the major things when I see these relationship shows, the man is given a prime example on why, as a woman, you can have your opinion. You want a man to earn a certain amount of money and be a certain height and be this, that, and the other. And you have your list, and you have your right to have your list. And the man on the show always says, you have the right to have your preferences. But when the man says his preferences, the woman always, not always, often snaps back like, yo, you insecure. What does it matter what my past was? And then it seems like they don't let men have their preferences, their list, right? Their desired wish list for a mate. That's ignorance. That's all that is. That's ignorance. If you have a list, why can't I have a list, right? Won't you take the example that the man, and I don't know if this is done just for ratings, like, do the hosts tell these women, don't agree with me on the show, it builds more animosity and more contention and better for clicks? Or do the women on the show just don't sit with it and be like, that's a good point. You have your list of preferences, I have my list of preferences. That's humility, being able to say, I could be wrong in this. Like, you just gave me some new information. I'm a big fan of Colin Cowherd. He has a show, The Herd. I used to listen to him when he was on ESPN. I like his perspective because he'll say, when I get new information, I should be able to change my mind. And the same thing with us as people. If someone that cares about you tells you, you have a bad habit, like you tend to do this, sit with it. Sit with it. Be humble. So you know what? Thanks for sharing. I want to be better. Let me go sit with that and see. And I'll come back to you. And either I'll lean into what you're saying and work on it, or I might have a different opinion. We might have to respectfully disagree, but let me sit with it. All I'm saying is, people, when someone says something to you that you can improve on, at minimum, sit with it. Think about it. Have some humility that knowing you're not perfect, I'm not perfect, she's not perfect, you're not perfect, there is no perfection. So already knowing that, sit with what it is and see if you can improve on it. Don't come back defensive, blah, 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 blah. No one is winning. And in that, it made me think of Larry Brown and Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson to this day would say he was one of his greatest coaches. But in the moment, he couldn't humble himself, and Larry Brown couldn't humble themselves. And then the president of the 76ers at the time put them in a room together, and they was able to work it out. That should always be the ultimate goal, to work it out, to compromise to the degree that we win, right? Not I win, you lose, right? I win, you lose is still a losing proposition. You always want win-win, right? As far as you can get to win-win, the better for anything and everything. Win-win, right? And they couldn't compromise until they were put in a room and forced to talk it out. And Allen Iverson would even say, I wish I would have listened to him sooner. And I'm sure Larry Brown would admit, I wish I would have tempered my structure and hard-headedness to compromise with Allen Iverson and sit with a room with him sooner. Compromise, right? Humility. Now, compromise is all good unless the compromise is going to make you sin. We're not doing none of that. We're not doing none of that. You're not married. The man is like, hey, let's just have sex this one time. You know I'm going to marry you. Nah, we good. We're not going to compromise if it's going to make us sin. We don't want to do that. Hey, just sit in a car. I'm going to rob this store real quick, but you don't have to come in with me. Just sit in a car. No, we're not going to do that. All right? Don't compromise if it's going to lead you to sin. And in that, I'm going to be even more transparent. When I wasn't married, I had sexual relationships with my wife. I apologized in humility once I learned how wrong I was to my sons that I had with my wife and my stepson for having sexual relationships with their mom unmarried. I totally didn't cover her as Christ would have wanted me to cover her. So I apologize to my sons. And they're 22, 20, and 34 years old. And I said, look, I apologize for having a sexual relationship with your mother before we got married. Out of humility, all right? Humility will take you a long way, man. I love apologizing. Tell me where I'm wrong, I apologize. It is not my desire to hurt you. It is not my desire to win and you lose, right? When you're wrong, you're wrong. But the bottom line of today, for me sharing, is just sometimes sit with the criticism. Sit with the criticism. If you're hearing it enough, sit with it. Pray about it if you're a praying person. Pray, ask God, is this something that I do? What is the root of this bad habit? How can I humble myself? How can I come back better? We could all be better. And it's not a competition. It's not just doing stuff to keep score. But we could all be better, all right? So when you're talking to a loved one, you're talking to a coworker, that's what you notice I do? Let me sit with that. Let me get back to you. You know what? I do that. And that's a bad habit. I got to work on that. I recently had a review at my job, and my supervisor said, you could tend to be more expressive, use more words, show more empathy. Because she noticed when me and her talk, I'm like super empathetic, I'm relational. And I was like, you know what, you're right. I'm kind of net. I like a to-do list, boom, 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 I'm done. And sometimes I speed because of that. I like to get things done. Done is one of my favorite words. I'm not a procrastinator. I'd rather do it, be done. Do it, be done. And when you're in the people business, moving fast like that can make you seem insensitive. So on my computer at work, I put be empathetic, use more words, think more customer service oriented. Now I'm better. I'm slowly getting better. I'm asking more questions. I'm taking my time when I speak with a student. I'm in education, and that's it, bro. I just want y'all to know: be humble. Don't compromise when it's gonna lead you to sin, but be humble. Take criticism. Sit with it. Pray about it. Think about it. If more than one person's been saying it, if it's something that keeps coming up, it might be some truth to it. You know, ultimately, if you just live by the word of God, you can see all your miscues and being more encouraged by Holy Spirit to correct them. But if you're in the world, you could, you still can learn from this dialogue we having right now, or monologue. I'm just talking to y'all. But yeah, be humble, be open to suggestion, have a teachable spirit. That's really the theme. Have a teachable spirit. Like, no one's arrived. We all still learning. We all work in progress. So have a teachable spirit. If you're single, have a teachable spirit. What have you been doing that's kept you single? What has been the main complaint by your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend that seems to be a pattern? Why is it a pattern? Let me pray that pattern out. Let me start doing something different. Let me make a new habit, right? Because if you have a habit, it's easier to do stuff, right? I have a habit. My sons have habits of going to the gym. So working out is not a stretch for them. It's a habit. Sometimes you got to do something different, dedicate some real quality time to being consistent in it. Then it turns into a habit. And then you can break bad habits and replace them with good habits. So have a teachable spirit, be humble, compromise, as long as your compromise is not leading you into sin. And we all can be better for it. All right? I love y'all. Whoever this helped, God bless you.